Once upon a time, there was a young princess called Maya. She lived in the kingdom of Dreammaker, a land filled with beautiful buildings and green grass as far as the eye could see. She lived with her dad and mum. Her dad, who was the king, was a strong and wise leader. Her mother, the queen, was so beautiful that she was loved across the land. This sounds like the start of every princess story, but Maya wasn't your usual kind of princess. You see, Maya could sleep anywhere. No matter what the time, no matter what place, Maya would find a way of going to sleep. Once, she and her dad, the king, were going for a walk around the gardens when she stopped to smell the flowers. When her dad turned around, Maya was already fast asleep, curled up in the flower bed. Another time, the queen was teaching Maya how to be a queen. One of the important jobs of a queen is to sit up straight and proud on the throne and smile and listen to all the problems of the people in the kingdom. At first, it was going well. One by one, the residents of the kingdom came in, and Maya smiled and sat up straight. Then, oh no! She had already fallen asleep, and she even started snoring. The weather didn't change her ability to stay awake. On the sunniest of days, during blustery blizzards, Maya would find a way to snooze. One day she was sledding down a huge hill with snow flurrying down all around her, going over hills so fast. Then seconds later, she was snoozing. Zzz. Bedtime wasn't any different. Every night her mum, the queen, would say, "Put on your PJs and brush your teeth, then I can read you a bedtime story." So Maya would go get her PJs and head to the bathroom. "Maya? Maya!" her mum would call out, and then she would wander into the bathroom to find Maya sleeping at the basin, with a toothbrush in her mouth. Princess Maya was not very happy that she would fall asleep all the time, because she couldn't finish a colouring picture, and she couldn't remember the last time she made it to dessert, and worst of all, she never got to actually hear any of her bedtime stories. The king said, "You need to go to bed at a good time so you're not sleepy in the day." Princess Maya said, "I've been napping all day, what's the point?" But she agreed she would try harder. So the next time bedtime came around, Maya's mum said, "Time for bed." As always, Maya put on her PJs and started to brush her teeth, and she nodded off just for a second. But just as she did, her mum called to her out loud, so she woke straight up and headed to bed. But when she heard the words, "Once upon a time," she fell asleep again. The next morning, the princess woke up wide awake and full of energy, so she got dressed and went downstairs for breakfast. Her dad asked, "Did you sleep well, my little princess?" "Yes, Daddy," she smiled. Then she took a spoonful of her cereal, then another. It looked like it had worked. She had actually eaten a full breakfast and she hadn't fallen asleep. She was so happy. As a princess, Maya had lots of things to do. Horse riding, followed by dancing, then lessons on how to eat and sit like a princess. But most days she had never made it past breakfast. Now she was so excited as she put on her horse riding clothes and climbed onto the horse. And off she went. She was smiling and giggling and jumping over rails and galloping. Then it happened. Her eyes started to flutter and soon she was asleep. Thankfully, the horse knew to stop so the instructor could get her off safely. When she woke up in her bed and her mum and dad were there, Maya felt sad. She said, "I went to bed nice and early, so why did I still fall asleep?" Her mum looked at her and said, "It runs in my family, but there are some things we can do to try to make it better." Maya gave her mum and dad a big hug. Before Maya sat down for dinner, she said across the long table, "Mum, you said we could try some things to make it better. What did you mean?" The queen said, "Taking naps is what I mean." Maya looked confused. "First Dad tells me to go to bed early, now you tell me to take naps. How will that help?" she thought. She was a bit cross, so she just sat silently eating, and as always she got halfway through her dinner, and then she was asleep. The next morning Maya woke up sad and a little annoyed. Just then, Nan stuck her head around her door and said, "Hello, Snoozarella." Hearing that always made Maya smile. Nan guessed what was wrong. Maya got up and went for a hug, but not just any kind of hug, a big, squishy Nan hug. Nan said, "Let's go get some breakfast and we can have a chat." At breakfast, the king, the queen, Nan and Maya all sat at the long dining table talking about all the funny places Maya had fallen asleep, when suddenly Nan said, "I remember another little girl who had a very similar problem." Everybody looked at the queen and she went bright red. "Mum, you always felt sleepy too?" "Well, yes, Maya, I did, and I still do if I don't go to bed early and take naps regularly, but it doesn't always work." The king laughed and said, "Yes, even on our wedding day your mum was missing for ages. She'd gone to the gardens to get some fresh air before the wedding, and she fell asleep on the bench over there by the tree." They all laughed. Nan started to list the places she had found the queen. On a swing, on a bench, in a bush, in a swimming pool, in the bath, even on a boat. And the funniest one was while she was dancing with your granddad at a ball. So Maya felt much better knowing that her mum had learnt to manage her sleeping problem, because she was an amazing queen who did all the queen things so very well. And if her mum could do it, then she could too. The end.